Hello, 156 class. My name is Alexander Calderon, and I will be presenting my autobiography when it comes to literacy. So, just to touch bases here, my assumption of, or my understanding of literacy when I was much younger. Keep in mind all this is about when I was in sixth through eighth grade. Sorry. My assumption was literacy was just reading and writing. That's all it was. I never had a teacher that to really explain to me, hey, there's different ways, to express yourself when it comes to literacy. I just assumed that the word literacy meant reading and writing. And back then, at that age, I mean, I wasn't one to go out of my way to at least write or read. I would try to avoid that as much as possible. So, one thing that I do remember though is in, I want to say, sixth or seventh grade. I'm not too sure. It was one of those two grades. In my English class, we had something that was called free time or free write. Sorry. What it was is that our teacher would put a certain topic on the board, and we had about 5 to 7 minutes to write as much as we can about that topic. After those 5 and 7 minutes were up, I mean, we would put our journals away and we would continue with our activities for the day. Like I said, I wasn't one to go out of my way to read and write. I disliked it a lot when I was younger. So what I did is make it into a competition. Um, I would sit next to my friend, and basically what we would do is whoever wrote the most within those 5 to 7 minutes would win the competition. And then I think the reward was that other person during lunch, because I had that class before lunch. That other person during lunch would give up their milk to whoever won. So I would make that into a competition. Like I said, I wasn't really involved in writing, so my grammar to this day is not the best. So I wouldn't even worry about spelling words correctly. I would just write until I couldn't write anymore, just for the sake of winning. So competition. That's what I really do remember when I was younger. I don't really remember about reading about Greece, reading about China, any of that stuff. I do not remember. The only reason why is I didn't care for it, so I didn't pay much attention to it. Um, so that was basically my assumption when I was younger. My experience when I was younger, with with um, with literacy. Now, what I do remember is in I think it was the sixth grade, was that there was a show that I would never miss by the name of Rugrats. This show I really enjoyed. I grew up at an age where I guess recording certain shows on TV was barely on the uprise, and we grew up poor, so we didn't have any of that. I would literally have to be home at a certain at the time that the show was gonna come on to watch it. I guess you could say live. One thing I do remember was that when I wouldn't understand a word or a phrase that they said on the show, keep in mind I was in sixth grade. I remember asking my brother at the time what that show or what that phrase meant, and he would explain to me to the best of his ability, because he was another person that didn't really like literacy. So he would explain to me, oh, this is what this word meant, or this is what they meant by them saying this. So I do remember that. And going back to Goodwin, I know to the roads of literature. I know she had mentioned the use of technology. I mean, television is a way of technology. So I mean, now that I think of it, now that I read the article, I mean, in a way I was practicing literacy. I was involved in literacy just by watching the show Rugrats and asking those questions in general. I remember paying real close attention to the show, for the fact that I really liked the show and I really wanted to understand what that particular episode was about. So Goodman did a good job with that. So now my sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. Sorry. Finding examples. I mean, I kind of basically told you guys. One thing that I also found myself doing a lot at that age was drawing. I would enjoy drawing. I would spend most of my time drawing here at the house when I had to do anything that had to involve reading or writing. So, and Goodman, I mean, in the roads of literacy also drawing could be in a way to express literacy. I remember my mom would ask me questions about my picture, so in a way I had to explain my picture to her. I do remember that very vividly. I would draw a picture of, let's say a truck, and she would ask me specific questions. Okay, what model's the truck? What year is the truck? Does the truck has this? Does the truck have that? So I do remember my mom asking me questions about my drawings and me explaining to her verbally of what my drawing was about. Now that I think of it, my perspective about literacy, another one was that family, road to literacy was kind of family orientated. Sorry, I grew up being Catholic, still am. So we would go to mass every Sunday. I remember, and we would read the Bible. We would respond to the prayers, and I went to catechism. So I memorized the prayers that they made us memorize. So in that aspect, I mean, I do remember that. In a way, I didn't think of that as a way of literacy, but now that reading Goodwin, it's a way of literacy which I wasn't aware of. But I mean, and I did it for the sake that it was important to my parents. They're very religious when it comes to their religion, so I did it more for the aspect of them. Again, I disliked it. I disliked the reading and the writing part when it came to catechism and mass and stuff. But like I said, for the sake of them and making them happy, I remember me, really trying to memorize, the prayers and responding and knowing how to read the Bible. So that's another way of literacy that was involved in my life. But other than that, I mean, like I mentioned in the beginning, I wasn't really one to go out of my way for literacy, and I don't really remember much when it comes to literacy in my younger age besides, my journal writing and me really disliking it, and the mass part when we would go every Sunday to mass and read the Bible and catechism, and my drawings and Rugrats. That's basically what I do remember about my literacy. With that being said, that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.